Everybody, welcome to The Blacklist, the show where we interview the elite, and today we have a special treat. Today we're actually not going to talk about business. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are happening out in the world, and I wanted to bring somebody special on because he posts about this a lot, and he gets a lot of, I'd say, good and hate from both sides, and I think you do that for engagement. But I wanted to introduce Kyree. So Kyree is a badass when it comes to Facebook ads, but he also does men empowerment, right, and things like that, like relationship coaching, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So today, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to start asking you a couple of, innocent questions, and then it's going to get really, really deep.
I'm down.
One thing that he's never talked about, which I want to talk about, today is going to be like Andrew Tate, right? And the whole scenario there. But let's start off small. I think that, from your Facebook posts, you post a lot of things that trigger people, right? And they get really defensive. And I don't know, from when you're posting it, do you mean a lot of the things that you're saying, or is it you're just posting because you know it's going to get a lot of engagement?
No, I mean everything I say. So I refuse to go like full troll.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you're almost there though.
Say things that are dishonest. I won't say anything that's dishonest. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely believe the things I say. What I will do is remove context sometimes. What I will do is my view of it is my job is to provide a canvas and a prompt.
Yeah.
And then people get to come paint it with their own emotions, biases, insecurities,
Yep.
their own projections. And I'm cool with them doing that. My job is to provide the canvas. And then usually we end up providing some context either in the comment section or in my messages afterwards.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because I feel like, I've been following you a lot, and I think this only happened, when I say recently, I say maybe like the last year and a half or something like that, right? Because before, I don't think you used to do that. When did you start kind of posting in that way, which I think gets you a lot of engagement?
2018.
Really?
I've posted 3 times a day since 2018.
But in that form, though, where you're like almost...
My first post was that I believe men should be the leaders of their household, and that I believe in a patriarchy in the form of household dynamic, not necessarily in a way of governing a country.
Yeah.
And it just went insane. Even though I had my caveat in there, it still went crazy. And I was like, oh, this is it. It fed along with what we talked about before, all the interviews I was doing. I was studying human behavior. I was studying why we think the way we think. And so most of my content now is like, okay, this is a big thing that people are talking about right now. What is the thing? Is there a certain word? So like patriarchy. Is there a certain word people disagree with? Or do they disagree with the messaging? Or do they disagree with the tone? What is it that people actually have a problem with here? And most of the time I find out when I post something, people go crazy. I answer questions and I provide context. And then we all end up realizing like, oh, we kind of think the same thing most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. And and let me ask you, like, I'm pretty sure it does. Is that bringing you business from both sides, or are you like getting one side of the coin, like always wanting to hire you?
So I realize if both sides think I'm way too far on the other side, I'm in a good spot. Liberal think I'm too conservative. Conservative thinks I'm too liberal.
Yeah.
Whatever we want to do, politically or anything else. If both sides are a little bit like annoyed by me, I'm doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And so I would say my clients are pretty balanced. I'd say half of my clients are like looking for a little bit more of the tough masculine, and some of them are looking for a little bit more of like the emotional stability, the calmness, the like centeredness that I don't think they know how to find sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the actual balance? What is, you yourself believe and think when you're posting these things? Because it is sometimes, like you said, like, I think you do, trigger both, like the right and the left, which is kind of crazy. Like usually people only trigger one side, but you trigger both, on different topics.
It's a challenge. The only genuine point is just because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I realized when like I would talk to even people who are friends of mine.
Yeah.
When a hot topic comes up, Kanye West right now.
Right.
I knew what everybody was going to post. If you brought up your name, I pretty much could have written your post for you.
Yeah.
I just don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want, when a popular topic comes up, I don't want everybody to just know what Kyree's going to say about it.
Right.
I would just much rather say, here's my genuine opinion, or here's a piece of my genuine opinion that I'm going to allow you to take whichever direction you'd like. And then again, in my comment section, I can provide more context and we can have a better understanding if people are open to it.
Yeah. Well, good. Because this conversation is going to be all about that, diving into what you actually believe,
Yeah.
So about the Kanye thing, what do you think about that so far?
I don't know anything about it.
Nothing?
I knew people were freaking out about Kanye, and I posted something saying Kanye West. Like, I think I just posted, can this be a hub for people who just don't care at all
Yeah,
about what's
yeah,
happening with Kanye.
yeah,
Because it's so hard for me. Celebrity stuff is really hard for me to pay attention to because
yeah.
I mean, I have a lot going on in my personal life right
Right.
now, and so
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you,
He
man.
just had a wedding.
Thank you.
So
So
congratulations.
I couldn't imagine like letting somebody who has zero effect on me pull me away from that
Yeah.
in any capacity. So I don't even know what he said. I don't know what he did. I'm assuming it's a marketing ploy, and I congratulate him on his successful marketing ploy.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So, one thing that I wanted to mention is, well, you mentioned off air that you haven't spoken anything yet about like on the Andrew Tate situation. However, I feel as if right now there is like I wouldn't say like a major attack, but like I definitely think that they're silencing a lot of people now than they were before.
Yeah.
I think it first started off with like Alex Jones, and then progressed to Trump, which everybody thought was crazy,
hmm
and then Andrew Tate, and then now it's being Kanye. What are your thoughts on the whole cancel culture?
So I think holding people accountable, absolutely yes.
What does that look like though?
I think having discourse. I think multiple people saying whatever the fuck they want about him. I don't know if we can cuss on here.
Yeah,
People saying whatever they want about him because he's allowed to say whatever he wants about them or collectively about whoever. I just don't like the deplatforming thing. I disagree with it. I also understand it from the perspective of the platform. The platform has to protect what they've built. They're allowed to protect what they've built. They're private entities, some
yeah,
of them, at least in their decision making. And so I think also you have to say this is part of what comes with the territory I've chosen to embark upon using examples like Alex Jones. So I've seen this happen before. If I'm a highly intelligent person, I have to say at what point did they cross the line? The line of this is going to end you not on this platform anymore. And I think we can start teasing the line. I think we can play around with it a little bit, but completely jumping over it can absolutely work because I think his business is probably doing better than ever
a
before
hundred percent.
because he created a martyr. Like he is now a martyr to those people.
Yeah,
I just think long term, it does also then remove a lot of the people who could have heard great things from him, who could have heard things that he had. It seems like just started posting right when he was getting deplatformed.
yeah,
He kind of calmed himself down a little bit,
yeah,
and then they shut off the lights. Imagine if you had started toning it back 3 months earlier. And I'm not saying he needed to do anything different. I wonder what would have happened if you start toning it down a little bit earlier and ease people into the actual message.
yeah, yeah. Do you think he would have been as famous though if you would have done so?
Yeah, because the ball was already rolling. The point is to get the momentum. I mean, this is the marketing brain going. The
Yeah.
point is to get the momentum going. The ball's already rolling downhill. You don't really need to feed it anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
we had how many TikTok accounts
Fuck,
posting
so
only
many.
Tate stuff constantly? The ball's already rolling. That's the time to scale it back. And you don't know in the moment. You don't know until it's too late. So it's
True.
like not even something you can fault him for.
Do you think he crossed the line?
To me,
Yeah. Like,
no. But I'm like total free speech.
yeah.
You say whatever you want as long as it's not like actively inciting violence against
Right.
somebody. So no, but to the platform, yeah, I hear everything. I don't hear everything. The snippets I've heard, yeah, you're crossing a line to that platform. That doesn't mean that it's wrong and horrible and you're an evil person. But given the context of where you're posting this content or where the content is being posted, even if it's not you, that's where it kind of came out of his hands. He doesn't have control anymore.
Yeah. So let's look at somebody like Trump, right? Who was the president, of the United States. I think like his line is a lot bigger than Andrew Tate's was. Do you think he ended up crossing the line to the point where he could be deplatformed?
I don't know, because like it's the cliche with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
I hate using that, but it was it's something where like he was energizing a group, and he was energizing a group by his own doing or not to storm the capital of a country. I think that crosses a line again. It may not have been the intent. It may not have been anything that he had anything to do with. But when you're energizing a group that is irresponsible, I think you have to bear a piece of the responsibility.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I would argue that like I feel like all groups have irresponsible,
For
people
sure.
but I don't see that happening on the left. You know, I don't see that happening at all.
Don't see what happening.
I don't see. There's not one person that I know of, and I could be completely wrong, from the left that has been deplatformed. And I feel like they say some crazy ass shit sometimes.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I genuinely don't know.
Because like the people that we know of, right? And obviously, again, you know, I think that's my point. Is like we only know people on the right that are getting deplatformed.
But those are the people that we're around.
What do you mean?
We're
That we're
entrepreneurs.
around.
We're entrepreneurs.
Right.
We're far skewed to the right. This
Right.
is where it gets difficult on our platform. Facebook is where you and I met, where we have most of our interaction. Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a bubble of online marketers and entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
and almost everybody skews to the right. So everything we're consuming most of the time is skewed toward the right. That's why the number one thing I have people do, because I mostly work with guys like in their early and mid 20s, is go start looking at other platforms. Go start looking at people who believe in stark contrast to your beliefs.
Yeah.
And genuinely try to understand where they're coming from, because none of us are doing that. And I think when you're one of the few who does that, you start seeing a little bit more of a balanced and nuanced conversation. So I think we're just in a bubble when it comes to entrepreneurship.
That is so true. Yeah, you're right. Because I didn't think about that. Like, I feel like, you know, everybody knows everybody in the internet space, or like internet marketing space, you know. And if you don't know them, you will know them pretty soon. Because
Or you know of them.
right, or
Everybody
you know
knows
them.
Sean Whalen, Ed Milet,
Yep.
like all of the people.
They're the main people that speak all the
and
time.
they're all right leaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brad Lee, who's here.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. And I think, yeah. Do you think we're just not allowing ourselves to see the other side, or is it just not prevalent? It's just not, you know, in our view. Like,
Yeah, I think people are disinterested.
yeah,
I want to believe what I believe.
yeah,
I don't want to hear about what you believe. I want to believe what fits what I already think.
yeah,
And so I'm going to consume content. I'm going to have my own confirmation bias. I'm going to consume content that reinforces what I already believe, and I'm not so interested in the opposition. I think we just need to become a little bit more interested in what the other side genuinely has to say, not necessarily with the point of disproving them, but can I see how you came to that conclusion? Because that's really the only way I'm changing anything.
yep,
I do it in my coaching business. I do it in my marketing business. If I can solidify your current belief and I can understand how you got to that conclusion, I can help walk you back toward my opinion or my belief. And I do that a lot in my content.
yeah,
So that's why my content is sometimes triggering or kind of light a fire under somebody who obviously you felt something when you read this thing.
yep,
We can first seek to understand, why do you think that? I ask questions all the time in my comment section. If I can understand why you came to the conclusion you came to, I can then help you walk your way toward what I believe. You don't have to accept it, but I can at least have a civil discourse with you. I can at least agree to disagree at the end of the day. There's no animosity most of the time. Sometimes there is, but most of the time there's not.
Most of the time, I mean, I see a couple of people that are always on your post, dude. Always.
Oh yeah, and then I'll get messages or screenshots of like, hey, this guy's messaging me. Like,
Yeah.
is he okay?
Yeah.
This guy?
No, he's triggered.
Yeah.
He's not
Oh
okay.
my
He's
gosh.
triggered.
Yeah. So he'll start messaging my friends.
Yeah.
What's up with this guy?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, relax. It's
Yeah.
Facebook.
Calm
Like,
down. It's the internet, bro.
Yeah, exactly. No, because I had this guy yesterday. His name's Jeff Fenster, and I was talking to him about some of this stuff too. And he was saying, like, dude, like I can have my beliefs, you can have your beliefs, we can talk about it. Sometimes I don't even have to, you know, talk about my beliefs. Like I feel like a lot of people right now are in a space where they feel so important that their opinion matters that they have to get you, Kyree, to understand my point of view.
You're
Like,
in
dude,
PR.
relax.
You see it all day.
Yeah. Oh my God, the ego is like up here. you know?
But then that's the thing is we meet these people in person, dead silent.
Yeah.
Or super meek and
Well, dude,
super mild.
I think dead silent.
Ugh.
Yeah, like compared, like even me, right? If I have a disagreement with you, I'm gonna stay dead silent. Look, like you would crush me, bro.
Oh, I get.
You would just
Yeah, maybe
backhand
that's
me
a
and I'm
deterrent.
done. You know. I feel like if somebody was telling me something, yeah, they'd puff out their chest, you know, look down on me and be
Just
like,
call Kyree.
exactly,
Yeah.
hell yeah. No, I'm just playing around, but yeah, I agree. You know, I think there's a lot of keyboard warriors, but I also do think, like I mentioned, people. I don't know why people feel this need to feel important enough to kind of, you know, I don't know, share that.
We're
Or fight it.
incentivized. I mean, likes and comments are our currency right now, right? Especially once COVID started, all we're doing is being online all day, and so likes and comments become your currency for attention. This is what I'm incentivized to get more of. I'm not incentivized to get more of honesty. I'm not incentivized to get more like deep human connection.
Yeah.
I'm incentivized to get more likes, comments, and shares.
Yeah.
So why would I do anything different?
But I understand why you do it, because I don't think you're doing it in a way to like plant your fucking flag on the floor and be like, look, this is what I believe in, or fuck off,
Bro, I'm totally cool being wrong.
Yeah.
And I think I get it. There's like, I'll go on a run of like 3 or 4 comments and really, or posts. Most of my content I write at night at the movie theater on my phone while I'm watching some garbage. I watched Black Adam, stupid movie,
It wasn't good?
garbage movie.
Then I'm about to watch
But
it.
I wrote like 12 posts while I'm in there having a great time.
Yeah.
So when I write my posts, people don't realize, like, people think I'm angry. People think I'm like this mean person. You've
Yeah.
been around me, you've met me. I just don't have that in me 99.9% of the time.
Right.
So when I post these things, I'm like, it's never ever in malice. It's never ever, I'm gonna shit talk. Yeah. But it's never like, I'm not trying to beat anybody down.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you feel horrible. I'm trying to make you analyze the way you currently think. Absolutely. And I want you to sometimes question yourself. I want you to sometimes be triggered by the thing I say, because it's going to cause the analysis to happen. When sometimes you haven't, or you've wanted to push away any opposition the way you currently think, I can serve as a beacon for that. Because if I post something you disagree with, but I've got 150 comments and a bunch of people agreeing with me, you now feel energized to say what you believe.
Yeah.
And either have your beliefs reinforced by people liking your comment on my post, or torn down by people in my comment section coming after you, or at least even asking you questions.
Yeah. Do you feel it's ego for the reason why people are, commenting on that post and trying to state their beliefs? Because, I have friends that are, and I don't want to mention names, but like they're big on making sure that they're right, or right, like that they, so they want to comment, they want to like, do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think there's a desire to be heard. Sometimes it shows up as ego. Sometimes it absolutely is ego. I think most of the time we want to be heard.
Okay.
When I talk to, like, I help some of my clients through content, especially on Facebook. And I talk about, like, most people can't build a following. Most people, and most like very good intentioned people, they're probably good at what they do, don't know how to build a following around them, or build people who are interested in what they have to say. And a lot of the way I built it was by asking questions, and asking relevant questions.
Yeah.
And then providing context, or writing something that was a little bit harsh and topical without any context, so that it starts drawing people in. When you can become the hub for the conversation, I think you start to see more conversations happen around you. I think you start to see your influence grow.
Yeah.
I think most people are just, let me talk about me and how awesome I am constantly. And we all do it to an extent. But I think when I can provide the platform for the conversation, I become a powerful hub for conversation and communication to happen.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. And in fact, I think you do a really good job of, sometimes you post that like you have tough conversations with your clients, right? Which I think, naturally needs to happen sometimes. And the way that you do it, I'm assuming, is also, question based, where like, I don't know how it looks like, but I'm also assuming that with your relationship coaching, that, like you said, you're trying to get maybe the man to see the woman's side of you, and the woman to see the man's side of you, right?
Constantly.
Yeah, and how does that work? Because sometimes I feel like our brains are wired differently, completely
They
different.
are. So we think, so there's a perfect example. I don't want to use your relationship as an example.
Why?
I wouldn't want to put you on the spot. Are you cool with it?
I can edit this out.
How do you feel
I
about
like it.
How do you feel about your girlfriend?
I love her
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
That's it?
I love her a lot. I love the fact that she takes care of our daughter. She definitely takes care of our home life, and I try to help her out as much as I can. Or actually, I do with the bills, with everything that she needs, with the dog grooming, all that type of stuff. All she needs to do really is, I want her to be happy and still take care of the home. Yeah.
Yeah. So you told me a lot of what you think about her.
Yeah.
I asked you what you felt about her.
Yeah. That's
If
true.
I asked her what she thought about you, she would tell me how she felt about you. So
That's powerful.
if I'm naturally asking most men, I do the same thing. Any client I've talked to in a relationship, I'll ask them the same question. How do you feel about her?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think this, and I think this, and I think she's awesome, and I think, we have a great dynamic, and I think we communicate well. You just told me what you thought.
Yeah.
But I asked you what you feel. Your initial communication style is going to be what you think. Her initial communication style is going to be what she feels.
Yeah.
So the best way for me to communicate with you is by feeling. And if I'm unwilling to do that, I'm just unwilling to have like a smart conversation with my partner,
Yeah.
or I'm unaware. So
Right.
until we have that conversation, you're completely unaware that that's the way to do it.
Yep.
So
And I think it is the unawareness part, right? Because even you made me aware of something.
yeah,
It's not something that I want to talk about here, obviously, because
nah,
it's
don't need to.
yeah. But yeah. That's true. And I think I mean, how did you get into that? Like, how do you know this type of stuff? Did you
Talk
do
to
any
a lot of
coaching or
people. I talk to a lot of people. I've interviewed over 1,000 people.
like women?
Everybody, dude. From like I used to take homeless people in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I used to drive for Lyft and Uber, like 2014, 15. And I used to take homeless people to get $4 all you can eat pancakes at Denny's.
Damn.
And I would just talk to them. Hey, can
Yeah.
I just talk to you? I did 65 end of life interviews. I interviewed people within 6 to 12 months of them dying. Like they know they're going to die.
Yeah.
Some of them, I was one of the last like relevant, well thought out conversations they had had. We'd play chess, we'd play checkers, we'd do random stuff, and I would just talk.
Yeah.
I started off with friends and family, teachers. I actually interviewed my now wife.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember it.
Damn.
She was like my 12th interview out of over 1,000, and she remembers like the phone call. She was like out on her parents' front porch. She remembers the conversation. She remembers the questions I asked. I just tried to talk to as many people as I could because I wanted to start looking at patterns. What makes people successful? What makes them unsuccessful? What makes them happy? What makes them not fulfilled? What are we actually afraid of?
Yeah.
So I would just try to get that out of people. And I was an innocent 19-year-old kid. So people were willing to be, I think, a lot more open with me than they
Right.
are with each other. So my innocence really helped me extract actually like good conversation from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. So that's where you got like most of the I think like human behavior, like how you
Almost
kind
all
of
of it.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to relationships, what are you finding is the most difficult thing that people are struggling with?
Communication.
Really, it's just all about like
I want to be heard first. I'm not looking to hear you first. And
Yeah.
I think the way that we do it, the only way we do it is if we can both be interested in what the other person has to say before what I have to say. I think we work out well, but that takes trust that most people I don't think have in their relationships. If I know that I'm being considered, I'm not worried about you considering my side.
Yep.
I know you're already considering it.
Yep.
That's why when we talk about like man leading the relationship, like patriarchy, all that stuff, my wife just knows that any decision I'm making, she's being considered in. She
Yeah.
knows that I'm not saying anything or doing anything without thinking about the impact on her and our daughter and our, baby coming up. I just don't think she even has to have any concern about it. So when we have decisions to make, she just knows that I know what she would say because we talked about it enough. We lay in bed talking about it. We spent the first few months of our relationship talking a lot about it, doing the work before it became important. So
Yeah.
that by the time it does become important, this is muscle memory to us. It's just what we do.
Yeah. But how do you rewind that for somebody that's like in heated discussion? They lost a lot of trust with their partner. They love them very much, but like shit happens and stuff like that. How do you take them back to that part where they are now deciding to trust each other again? And
Yeah.
'cause- yeah,
I mean, it's hard because shit doesn't just happen. We're not random particles moving around. Nothing's random. Nothing just happens. But that's a convenient story we tell ourselves. Things just happen, or they just changed, or I just changed. I think the only problem happens is when you change without their knowledge, without incorporating them into your changes that you're making in your life.
yeah,
So from what I saw, like with married couples and what caused people to get a divorce, most of the time one person changed and they didn't tell the other person. They didn't make the other person aware of it, or the other person was unwilling to become aware of it. So I think a lot of it is establishing a new baseline for the relationship. Because like you said, a lot of people are 10, 15, 20 years in even and don't understand each other. And it's like it's easy to just say, just have a conversation about it. But I
Right.
think it's a series of conversations, and it's a series of re-solidifying and re-getting to know each other that people are completely unwilling to do. Because if I convince myself that I completely know you, I know everything about you, I'm not curious anymore. I'm
Right.
not looking to hear anything new.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And how do you navigate that with your relationship? Because I know you said it's muscle memory, but I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing, but I think it's an educated guess. Like you guys aren't perfect, either. So like, how do you navigate that, knowing that you're in the space?
hmm We do it before it gets big. We've had 2 arguments in almost 3 years,
No way.
and we've never yelled at each other, not once. We don't scream at each other. We don't leave the house. We
yep.
don't do anything crazy. Like at the most it'll get is like a tense, like firm tone from one or the other,
Yeah,
and that's kind of it. And it never lasts more than 45 minutes.
yeah,
We've never like gone to bed super angry.
Yep.
We've
Yep.
never, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
None of that. So I just think we handle them small problems before they become big problems. I think a lot of times what people do is they'll push off small problems. It's not big enough to address yet. I don't want to deal with it yet. I'm already tired, especially when you have a kid.
Yeah.
She's already like with the baby. You guys have had a baby. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have sex for a few months afterwards. So like, when's the time for us to talk about it?
Yep.
There's just, she looks like she's walking around okay. Like, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you.
So there's just like having the small conversations before they become big conversations, I think is the main thing.
Yeah.
I can walk in and I can know if something's off with her, if I stayed at the casino for too long, or if I've been in too many meetings this week,
Yeah.
or if I've smoked 4 cigars this week when I normally only smoke 2 in a week.
Yeah.
Like, I can just kind of feel it out now, and we just address it then. And thankfully, and I would suggest this book for anybody reading the book Attached.
Okay.
It teaches you about attachment style. So I know that she's an anxious attachment style. Something's wrong. She can't hide it, and she needs to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
I'm a secured attachment style. If you need to talk about it right now, I'm totally down. If you need a few days to think about it and then we talk about it, I'm totally down. The avoidant attachment style is I need time, and time turns into we just never talk about it.
Yeah. No, I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense. But how do you, walk me through, if you're okay, an example of what something small, like, you being at the casino too long and, she's, I don't know, doesn't feel too good about it. Like, how does that conversation come up? It's just, because it is small, right?
Yeah.
But, maybe too many of those can lead into something big. How do you fix those small ones really quickly?
Yeah. I'll start hearing her short answers when I walk in.
Yeah.
Or like normally she's excited to ask me about my meeting or about my day, and then I don't, like, it doesn't happen. And so usually I'll come in with a joke. I'll come in with, hey, do you need me to tell you you're pretty and that I love you?
Yeah.
And then like that kind of opens her up into like, okay, cool, now we can talk about it. Like, there's something around clearing the air a little bit where it'll normally be a joke from my end about it, or even sometimes with her, like she'll just walk up with pouty eyes or pouty face. I'm like, hey, can you just tell me I'm pretty?
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
usually kind of our lead into the conversation.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not abrasive then, right? Because some people, when
Never.
they have issues, they're abrasive as fuck.
Right.
Um,
We've all been through those people.
Yeah. So that sounds incredibly healthy, right? I think you guys, what I'm hearing is that you guys have a lead in to be able to know you guys are going to have a conversation, and it both puts your guys' guard down.
That's it, exactly. Again, I know I'm going to be considered, so I don't have to get defensive.
Yeah.
I'm only defensive is if I don't trust you to consider my feelings or consider the way that I'm thinking about this, consider my perspective, then I have to be defensive, because if you're not going to do it for me, I have to do it for me.
True.
If you're not going to consider me, I have to stop considering you. And then where do we go? We just butt heads, and most arguments happen that way.
Yeah.
And so if we just both have our guards down, because we've both shown repetitively that we're able to handle the other person's thoughts, emotions, feelings, we just don't have anything that we're afraid of now with each other.
Right.
Now it's you and me versus whatever the problem is. It's not you and versus me because of the problem.
Yeah. Does one person have to initiate it though? Because I feel like, when there's an issue, they're in that state of like, you're not considering me, so I'm considering me, and I'm not considering you. I feel like one person has to drop their pride to be like, like you said, be like, hey, open it up with a joke, because you need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Is that true? Like, one person has to kind of initiate it usually?
So sometimes one of us initiates it. I'd say most of the time, it's a look we'll give each other. If we've been a little bit quiet with each other for the day, there's just like a shared, all right, I'm done being pouty, or I'm done like not talking about this. And so now it's usually like we can solve it with, we ready? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Like usually like baby goes down to bed, we're relaxing, getting ready for bed, lay in bed. Okay. Now what was it?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Finding the right time,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense, because I also think people are not good at timing, right?
Horrible.
I mean, oh my gosh, dude, I've seen people do it in public. Like,
So, yes.
go ahead.
So I'm thankful. One of the many things that makes me thankful for the woman that I've chosen is she couldn't imagine having anything in public. And I'll do the same thing. She could be wrong in public, and I will argue with anybody about her being right As soon as we're home, we actually have the conversation. Same thing with me.
Yeah.
She would never try to call me out in public if I said something wrong, if I did something wrong, unless it was like atrocious. But this just doesn't happen. I'm a pretty balanced and calm person. If we have any disagreement, it happens behind doors about something, about the way somebody handled something.
Yeah.
She can have a conversation with my mom that I don't necessarily agree with. Her and my mom are like best friends. But hey, I don't like exactly how that was handled. It'll never happen in front of the other person. It'll never happen in front of any sort of audience. It only happens back at home. And we both feel safe to do that.
Yeah.
I trust you in public enough to where you're not going to blow our family up or do anything crazy.
Right.
So now we get to just have our problems be, the 10 seconds that they take to solve.
Yeah. I think a common issue, or I don't know if it's common or not, but I know there is sometimes maybe a power struggle between the mother and the wife. What do you kind of think of that dynamic? Because, I don't know, there's like this thing on Twitter sometimes where it's like, would you give your mom the front seat or your wife the front seat or, shit like that. How do you, let's say somebody's coming to you about that, right? How do you fix that dynamic?
My mom knows she'll get cut off quick.
Yeah?
For my wife, 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it would never not happen.
See, so this is a good conversation because I mean, I don't know, we might agree, but I from that blanket statement, I don't agree, know. But I want to hear your side though.
I want to hear your side.
I mean, well, what do you mean by cut off? Because I don't want to assume anything.
If like there was a knockdown, drag out, anything, for any reason, my mom's cut off.
Okay, got it. So for me, it's whoever's right. So for me, it's like, because my girlfriend's not right all the time, and I know that. And my mom's definitely not right all the time.
Yeah.
And I know that too. And I think, whenever there's issues between them, if there's ever like issues between them, there's only been like a couple in like years. I'm not I'm not picking and choosing between like my wife and my mom,
That becomes
like
a problem.
Yeah.
Who do you live with?
I live with my wife.
Who do you have kids with?
I live with, I have kids with my wife.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you the reason why though.
Yeah.
Is because, although I live with her now, and I have kids with her, it doesn't make me oblivious to the fact that if she's wrong, she's wrong.
That's true too.
But
can you be wrong and I still took your side? Because then we can come back and repair later. And if my mom's just interested in repairing, once we've talked about it behind the scenes, where does she have to go?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a difficult one for me because I still feel like because both of them, I care about them very dearly. They're probably.
Were you gonna say equally?
No.
Oh, okay.
I care about them very very dearly, right? But I don't want to. If my girlfriend is wrong, she can still be wrong and me not choose my mom's side.
Yeah.
I think so. I think you could still.
So that's why I'm saying is I'm choosing her side all the time, even if she's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you just said the same thing.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I mean, this is good though, right? Like, because I think.
What do you mean then? Because you said I can still choose her side without her being right.
No, I can still choose. Like, I'm not choosing sides. I'm choosing to repair the fucking his situation. Whatever the situation is. Like, my girlfriend can be wrong, and I still don't have to take my mom's side, but I'm still not taking my girlfriend's side because she's wrong.
Gotcha.
Like, let's just fix the situation. Because my goal, the right side, I'm taking your both sides. Like, we're all family. Like, let's get this fixed. So, to me, it's important to me because and I'll tell you why, and maybe you'll know because of context. Like, my mom wasn't necessarily best friends with my dad's mom, and I saw that, and I saw how my dad's mom treated her at times. And my dad didn't come to defend. So, that's
Huge
an issue.
problems.
Yeah.
And I'm also speaking hypothetically. My mom and my wife love each other.
Right.
My parents just moved 20 minutes from us.
Yeah,
So they can
that's
be closer
good.
to the baby.
Yep.
Like they genuinely are best friends.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking only in hypotheticals. I don't think they've ever really had a problem. And any like small thing, my mom can be oblivious sometimes. Any small thing my mom has said, she gets a text from me about it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be the bad guy so I don't ruin your guys' relationship with one another.
Yeah.
But the question was, if I had to choose, I'm choosing my wife.
Yeah.
1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000.
Yeah.
There's like zero deviance. I'm not, there's no chance of the other side happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we can agree to disagree.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. What else? I think. Okay. How about this? Let's say. So in that situation, then how would you repair it? You're okay with being the bad guy and like texting your mom and then getting that repaired first, and then kind of everything else being
Yeah,
good.
it's usually a voice message.
Okay.
I come across better in
Voice messages through
Yeah.
text.
Just because I grew up with my mom. My mom was a single mom. She raised both my brother and I.
Yeah.
So like I know how to communicate with this personality versus my wife's personality. And so sometimes with my mom, it's just more, this is what you said, or this is what you did, and this is how it can be perceived.
Yeah.
Are you aware that that's how it could have been perceived?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's a very healthy combo.
Yeah, I'm
do the same.
I'm not yelling at anybody. I'm not doing anything crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's because like when you say like, oh yeah, cut off, or I'm choosing, my wife 9 times out of 10. Like
if it came down to there having to be a choice,
right,
1,000,000%. But 99.9% of the time, it doesn't come down to something like that.
Yeah.
If it did, which was I think that was the original question.
Right.
If it did come down to that, yeah, my mom's cut off 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000.
Yeah.
But the hope is we can be effective enough communicators where that never has to be a concern.
Right. And I think for most people though that are having those issues, they can learn from that. Like it doesn't have to get to that point. I think when shit like that happens, sometimes they just like drop communication at all.
I'd also rather have tension with my mom than tension with my wife. Tension with my mom is not inside my household every single day.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the choice. I think that's part of a long-term commitment that we're making, hopefully a forever commitment that most people end up making with each other, that I'm going to choose peace at home and we can deal with outside of the house together.
Yeah. Got it. Well, that's good. Okay. So how about having the tough conversations with your clients?
Yeah.
How does that end up usually working? I'm assuming pretty much similar.
I mean, most of the time I'm seen as like a big brother to them.
Yeah.
So like Nick, who we were talking about before,
yeah,
he also lived with me for a while. So I kind of treat all my clients respectfully like they're younger brothers of mine, even sometimes older clients. Like you came to me for a reason, and sometimes my job is to be the older brother. Sometimes it's to be a good friend to you right now. Sometimes it's to be like the judgmental, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just I can put on different hats, but there's an underlying level of like, I work with all my clients one-on-one. So I love my clients. We end up becoming really good friends. I can't think of a personal client I've had where I wouldn't allow them at my house, where I wouldn't allow them around my wife and my child.
Yeah.
Like most of them have been over to my house at least for dinner. Multiple of them have stayed with me for multiple nights, whenever they're in town.
Yep.
Like I try to really keep a close connection with my clients so that when I do have to have tough conversations, they know it's coming from a place not of fuck you, you're a horrible person, but hey, who you've told me you're looking to become, this doesn't fit. And can we start creating a conversation closer to who you've told me that you're looking to become, and that my job is to help hold you accountable for who you said you want to be.
Yeah. Who is that to you?
What do you mean?
Who is that person that holds you accountable?
My guy Ron, Reggie, Troy, Cody. That's probably it for right now.
Yeah, and the same conversations happen like that, where it's like, hey, maybe you're acting out of maybe not out of integrity, because that's never something that would happen, but like maybe you're acting out of a place where, hey, this is not you, or something like that, because how does it look like coming from your friends, or from those people?
It doesn't happen too often, and even actually my wife too. Like there have been multiple times where she'll hear me on a call, or she'll hear me, talking to somebody, or some conversation is happening, and she'll ask me a question. It'll always be posed as a question. Hey, babe, when you said that, was there a better way you could have put that? Or were you, at some point, you went from being informative to going a little bit deeper because you wanted to sound good, or you wanted to sound like you knew what you were saying or talking about.
Yeah.
And so I think small things are mostly the way that it comes about. But again, I don't really have those conversations very often. Every once in a while, I'll get a screenshot of one of my posts with a question of what I meant or what was the intention, and then we just have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
But there's no, you fucked up, bad little boy, anything like that.
Right.
Nobody's in that position.
Yeah.
But mostly it's like opened up to discourse.
Got it. Would you ever put somebody in that position?
No.
Okay, how come?
my reference point or that position for me is an internal thing that I've set up, which is me in 20 years. So the only person who gets to yell at me, who gets to scold me, is me in 20 years, and that person lives in my head. And so it doesn't get to represent itself as anybody else.
Got it. Okay. And I know we don't have that much time left, but I would want to talk about that a little bit because for me, I think iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
And this is just my perspective that, like, although I agree you're in a very good headspace right now, I'm not too sure that's going to be the case all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're that to other people, but the only person that is that to you is your internal self from 20 years later,
Mm-hmm.
I think there could be like a discrepancy maybe.
So that's where those other guys come in, is when I ask for it,
Yeah.
they're willing to be that.
Okay,
But
so you're
nobody
aware
gets-
enough where you're like,
Yeah,
boom.
nobody gets to just step in and be that
Yeah.
without permission.
Yeah. Got
But
it.
like for my clients even, I didn't get to be that without their permission. They've hired me to be that for them.
Yeah.
And so for the guys around me, they know that I'm aware enough to where if things were falling apart at home, business, whatever, that I would reach out and I would go stay on Ron's ranch for a week with him.
Yeah.
I would go stay on Jesse's ranch for a week with him. I'd go visit Cody in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like they know I'll make a flight and just say, hey man, I just need to talk. We just need to iron something out.
No, that's good. Super clear. Okay, good. Because I was like, oh shit, like
Nah,
you're the end all
it's
be
not
all.
like untouchable. Nobody
Yeah.
can tell me anything. Nobody can tell me I'm wrong. It's just, again, nobody can tell me that without permission
Right.
and be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And the people I do take seriously would never attempt to do that without permission.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're setting boundaries very clear, so that way when
Yeah.
you ask for it, you know what's, not necessarily what's coming, but you definitely, you're in the right direction.
Well, you can even see it. Like if you see any of my Facebook posts asking for advice,
Yeah,
I'm never asking for advice. I'm showing, here's what people's advice looks like. And look at how much of a hot piece of garbage most of this advice is.
yeah.
So I asked for your best marriage tips. And then underneath I said, how long have you been married? Are you divorced?
Yep.
Like, are you still happy with your partner? Give me those first before you give me advice. Same
Right.
thing with parenting advice. Let me talk to your kids first.
Yeah.
Before you give me any parenting advice, let me see the fruits of your parenting labor.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shut up.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not just letting information come freely. Like you're very much putting up a boundary. And look, hey, if you got the credentials, or if I like your parenting style, or I like your family dynamic,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to that. You're not just dissecting everything.
And that's my responsibility to go seek those people out.
Yeah.
I need to go find people whose family dynamic I really agree with. I need to go find people whose business partnerships and relationships and like the support system they've set up that I really agree with. And I can go create more of that for myself.
Yeah.
I'm just not letting the internet tell me how to live anything because the internet, like, I just think it's the average person. The average person isn't very smart.
Yeah.
They're not very sociable. They're not good at taking other people's experiences into account. So I
Yeah.
just don't expect that from them. I just wouldn't allow that into my view.
Awesome, dude. Well, you crushed this podcast. Where can people find you?
Thank you, man. I think Instagram's easiest, at Kyree, Kyree on Instagram. That's probably gonna be the easiest way. I was gonna I'm not gonna give my email. Here's my address.
Yeah. All right.
Instagram's probably the easiest.
What about Facebook? Because I mean, that's like,
Facebook, Kyree Oliver. I gotta go clear people out now.
Yeah,
Anytime
yeah.
I'm on a podcast, I gotta go cull some old people from the list. I don't remember the link to it, but if you look up Kyree Oliver, you'll see my face on it, and I'm friends with you. So if they're
Yeah.
friends with you,
cool, dude. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. You
Yeah.
crushed it, and it was a good conversation. For
thank
sure.
you, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Cool.